Join me, Bex from the Wide Boot Company, as I do my first dressage competition in absolutely ages, deal with an abscess, and I fall off. Alfie and I have just arrived at Amber's, haven't we, Alfie? Yeah, so the plan is this weekend I'm going to do a novice dressage test for my local riding club. Yeah, novice is the highest level they do, and you know, I know I should think positively, but we know what happens when I go to dressage competitions. We always come last, don't we? Yes, we do. So I don't really care about that. What I'm going for is it worked out £11.50 with my test fee and the booking fee, because I'm a member of the riding club. So it is a cheap way to go and ride in a nice arena. So that's what we're looking at it as, aren't we? We're not worrying about the scores or anything else. We're just going to go and ride, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Poor Alfie, he's so scabby. He's had, I don't know why he keeps itching his face so much, but yeah, where we've had this muggy, mild weather, he's really, really itchy. And he looks worse because I've been putting cream on it and all the dust is stuck to it. So you look really dirty. So yeah, we need to give you a quick brush. We need to brush you, don't we? Yes. And then hopefully run through this novice test that I've literally looked at last night briefly. So yeah, but anyway, see how it goes at the weekend. Oh, and I forgot to say, it's actually our first dressage test we've done since, well, we did one at IPS in the summer, in August, which was just a music one, just for fun, didn't we? That was good, you were good. You were good. Judge didn't think so, but I thought you were good. And then, yeah, since then, I think the last time I actually did a dressage test with a judge was the MCI test, which was in, I think it was like March. It was ages ago. Because I had such a bad experience at that test, it honestly put me off going to do dressage. So, yeah, this is the first time we've done a dressage test apart from the music one for months, like half a year. Half a year, Elsie. You look really up for it. Really up for it. I do love this boy. We don't care what the judges think, do we? We don't. No, we don't. So the test was Novice 27, and I don't think we've done this one before. Maybe we did ages ago with Quest, I can't remember. But anyway, so we thought we'd run through it once with Amber reading it, which we did, and that went fine. And then this second go was me trying to remember it off by heart, and I thought I was doing quite well, and we were remembering it quite nicely, and he was going very well actually. I felt generally the rhythm was good and the contact was better. So yeah, it's an improvement on previous tests we've tried to do. And yes, this is going around on the 20-metre circle and then into the S shape across the middle of the arena. So it's two 10-metre half circles joined at X. And yeah, this all looked pretty good. And then it's the walk transition in that corner there, that was nice. And then I could not quite remember, well, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I came across the diagonal because I thought that was next, and that was wrong. I should have actually done a counter transition over X on a circle up at the top end of the arena there. So here's me realising I've gone wrong.
Oh, no, I've gone wrong.
No, you haven't. Whoops. So yeah, we started again and went through the start of the test and down the centre line. So I've cut that because obviously you've already seen that bit and it gets a bit boring watching the same dressage test again and again. And that was a nice transition over X into the canter there. So that's what we should have done instead of coming across the diagonal the last time. And then this bit is a give and retake with the reins on this long side. And then he was a bit of an idiot here. Oh, elf. Silly boy. Yeah, so bit silly. And then across the diagonal again, back into trot. And then you are pretty much repeating the same pattern after this long diagonal in medium trot, which was where I got confused before and thought I was coming across a diagonal in trot, but obviously I got it all the wrong way around because I'm useless. Good boy, don't be frightened of me. So I think if you're someone who's followed our journey for a while, you'll probably agree that this is just looking so much more relaxed and the contact is so much better. So I'm hugely happy with my change in bit because I really do think it has helped a lot. He's really seeking the contact forwards, which is where we had a lot of issues before. So just cut to the next canter bit here coming up, and he was being a bit lazy off my leg, so I touched him with a whip. And yeah, he did that little pop buck as if to say, don't make me do it, I don't want to. But once he gets into it, he always enjoys it. But yeah, a bit sluggish off my leg there, so a very rare tap of the whip there. I think that was a nice clear give and retake of the reins as well. So yeah, coming back to trot here and then trying to prep for that bit with the medium strides of trot across the diagonal. So it's kind of like trying to collect him up a bit before then pushing forwards to ask for that slightly lengthened stride. We got a couple of strides. I would really like to improve on the lengthened strides in these tests. I'm sure we will get there eventually, especially now we're getting the forward contact more. So I think one of the indicators that he's happier in this bit is that he is not doing this head flicking as much now. When we used to do walk work, he would stretch down and then flick his head, whereas he's not doing that as much now in the new bit, so that's good. This is the final centre line, so it's walk and then into trot between the first two markers and then halt between the last two markers. I decided to do it as sitting trot so that I didn't have to unbalance him by rising, and it's just easier to get a nice square halt. Well, I thought that test went really nicely. The first one that we didn't really hope was actually the better one, typically. And the second one, for some reason, he decided to do that big spook when he got to Amber, because he's obviously never seen her before and never seen a camera phone before. Strange horse. Anyway, yeah, I feel like the new bit is good. He seems to be responding very well to that. And yeah, Amber thought that was a nice test as well. So, you know, this always happens. I sort of feel like I've prepped and I learn the test and I practice it and I go to a competition feeling like, woo, you know, we might have a chance of doing quite well here. And then it always just seems that it never does, for whatever reason. But we always just seem to come last or second last in dressage stuff. So maybe we can break that habit. You know, the new bit is definitely helping with the old chompy jump. So he's stiller, and I feel like he's working so nicely at the moment, especially since I had my Raphael lesson. He's just been working beautifully, and I feel, you know, he's giving me a really nice ride every time. So if he does that on Saturday, I feel like we deserve to get a good score if it goes well. But you know, we'll see what happens on the day. But I never get my hopes up. I try to get my hopes up. It's very, you know, I do try and be positive because, like I say, the actual riding side of it at the moment and how he's going, I feel like it's going very well. And then that's why I stopped doing dressage competitions, because it was just knocking my confidence so much in terms of the scoring we were getting, and some of the judges were just so miserable and just made it such an unpleasant experience. I don't ever mind getting low scores or, you know, realistic comments. I'm totally not somebody that needs to be told I'm amazing or anything like that. I know there's issues with some of our work, but I do, if I'm paying to go somewhere, at least want somebody to smile at me. That's all I ask. Smile and be friendly. And even if it's the worst test you've ever done, write something positive at the end, something nice, you know, and make it an experience that makes me want to come back. Because yeah, the last few MCI tests I did really put me off doing any competitions, which is a shame. But anyway, so we're ready to go back out again. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I'm not holding my breath, but we'll see how it goes. So this is something else that we've just been dealing with this week. Poor Atia, she's been a bit funny. She wasn't lame, but she looked a bit odd if you tried to trot her. And then Sunday we trotted her up because we were going to try and hack out, and she trotted up on this grassy strip just here, the other side of the fence, and she looked really sound. So it was like, okay, so we tacked her up, went to put her hoof boots on, and she was a bit funny about it. And then when we went out on the road, she was hopping lame. So I thought, it's a bit strange. Anyway, so yes, it progressed into what was obviously an abscess. And I will put the picture up because it actually had erupted out the top, just above her heel bulb. So just if I explain on this, well, I'll show you the picture. But anyway, it had basically erupted out kind of here, but on the inside of this foot here. So yeah, not very nice. Oh sorry, no, it was on this side, isn't it, actually? Yes, this side. Yeah, so anyway, the vet came out yesterday because I thought there's no point trying to get the farrier out, because it obviously is going to be a bit of a sedation or nerve block job. So yes, that's what the vet did in the end. She just nerve blocked that side of her foot once we'd found where it was coming out. And yeah, there was a bit of a bulge on the top of her heel bulb yesterday, and that was obviously where she was really unhappy with me putting any pressure on. So oh, look how cute these two are together. And yeah, so I kind of had a bit of an idea where it was, but yeah, obviously needed the vet's help to sort that out, and she's flushed it, so she's still a little bit sore in it. I'm not going to redress it today. I'll redress it, or I might redress it tonight, but I just need to give it a bit of time for it to drain out basically. But yeah, I've never had an abscess come out the top. I know they're meant to be the worst ones, and it would explain why she's been a bit fitty on and off for quite some time. You can see she's still a bit uncomfortable on it, but at least she's weight bearing on it, because yesterday she was really not, standing there with her toe out and really not happy at all. So anyway, yeah, I'll see how that goes over the next few days, but hopefully once it's fully drained, she'll be much more comfortable. So yeah, it's Saturday morning, and I did not have a good day yesterday. I took Elf into the field to ride when my husband got back from work, because I hadn't been able to ride on Wednesday or Thursday, so I really needed to do something with him yesterday before the competition today. But it was absolutely torrential rain. Not a problem usually. I put his rain sheet on, and had my equi-dry on, and was schooling in the field, and just as I was about to get on, the people in the field next door to me decided to go, and they never come up to the field because their horses aren't there at the moment, but they went into their stable block, which is backing onto where I school him in my little paddock. So because they are not usually in there, and it was because it was so wet, I think they were in there laughing and chatting and stuff, and we were trotting around and he was fine, and then we changed the rein and we came around the other way, and he just put in the most massive spook away from, he obviously heard them in there and just like shot sideways away from it, and there was no way I could sit it out because my equi-dry was zipped over the saddle because I was trying to keep the saddle dry. So I think as he went sideways, the equi-dry pulls the cantle of the saddle with me. So I was halfway off, and eventually I just, that was it. I had to bail, so hit the ground really hard, obviously on grass, which is quite painful. And then once I fell off, he shot off around the paddock and had his saddle upside down, lost the high-vis rain sheet that I had on him, waterproof. That went flying off. It was threaded through the stirrups. It's one of the ones that goes through the stirrups and up over the pommel of the saddle, so that all got broken. Well, not really broken, but he's just like torn the strap underneath, like the belly strap. And my equi-dry leg strap got broken, and yeah, luckily nothing else got broken, and he stopped after one lap. I managed to get up, and then we caught him, and my husband held him while I got the saddle off, because the girth was right on the top of his spine by that point, where it was completely upside down. So I didn't get back on, A, because it was really, really painful, and B, I didn't really want to get on and ride again in the rain while they were still in the shed in the stables next to me chatting, and you know, just riding on hard ground, because it's been dry for quite a few weeks now. So although we had a lot of rain yesterday, the ground is just very hard as well, so I didn't really fancy getting back on in that situation. Normally I would, but yeah, it was not the time. So I'm going to take him today. I am really stiff. I'm going to struggle to get on. I think that the swinging my leg over is going to be the difficult bit. Luckily, even though I have such a bad back and neck and everything, I didn't hit any of that. My head didn't hit the ground. I sort of landed on my bum sideways with my head up. I think I sort of managed to roll a bit with my arm tucked to try and stop the impact. So yeah, I'm not too bruised apart from down the side of my hip and my bum, but that's going to be a bit painful. And so yeah, if I tack him up at the show and he's being an idiot, I just will give it a miss. But I want to take him and I want to try and ride, so I don't think we're going to obviously do a very good test because I feel quite painful. The only upside is it's a novice test and there's no sitting trot, so I'm not going to have to like bang along on a very bruised bum. So yeah, that's the first time I've ever fallen off him actually, which is a shame. And I think had I not had the equi-dry on and the saddle had pulled with me, I might have sat it out, but yeah, once the saddle went, that was it. So yeah, unfortunate. Anyway, and just typical, because the people next door are never there normally, so I just standard bad luck of mine that the timing, they decided to come up at that particular time when I was trying to ride, and I couldn't wait because the light was going. So yeah, anyway, the joys of having no school or arena to ride in. Yeah, anyway. Right, so because he got a bit of a panic with the saddle ending up upside down yesterday, I just thought, you can see the mud where I came off. I just thought I'd give him a little walk round in the paddock this morning. He's just had his brekkie, and just make sure that he realises it's not scary, it's fine, it's just his saddle. But I obviously don't want to be doing that for the first time at a showground where it's a bit unfamiliar. So yeah, we'll do that this morning, and then hopefully by the time we get to the show this afternoon, he's going to be happy. So yes, one thing I have noticed or realised is that yesterday was Friday the 13th. Maybe a coincidence. Anyway. He's got his saddle on. We're just literally mooching around the paddock. I don't want to take him straight to a show, put the saddle on after he's had a scare yesterday like that, and then worry about it. So yeah, he seems pretty happy. You happy? You're happy? What are you looking at? Come on. Yeah, the problem with my field is there's a lot of stuff going on. You never ever get a peaceful session because I'm by the road, so even when I'm in my paddock here, I've always got loud motorbikes, lorries, tractors, people walking dogs, all sorts of stuff goes past on the road. So in one way it's really good because it does desensitise the horses, especially when they're just grazing, but yeah, it can be an issue when you're trying to ride, and especially when you're on a new horse or a sharp horse. It can be difficult because obviously I can't control what goes past my field or what happens in the field next to me when people come up and do stuff. So, yeah, anyway, he seems quite happy. So, yeah, we'll call it a day now. You alright? Can you stop? Just stop. You just want to eat. You just want to eat, don't you? Yeah, anyway, let's see what happens later on. We are in the lorry. I've taken some drugs to try and help with my bruising. So yeah, he's actually been very good. He's loaded in nicely, so hopefully it will go to plan and we will forget all about yesterday's Friday the 13th escapades. So yeah, anyway, Erin is with me to help, and I've just run through the test in my head and remembered it correctly, so see how it goes. Right, so we've plaited him up. It's a bit of a bodge job, but anyway, yeah, gonna get on him. It's quite a long walk to get to the arena because you have to go down out of here and then all the way down there to get in, so it's a bit of a trek. So hopefully he'll be good going down there because I want to get on using my big step that I brought with me, so I know I can definitely get on alright. But yeah, it's quite windy. Poor Erin is in my equi dry because it's so cold. So yeah, anyway, let's I'll get myself ready, get on, and we'll go and see what he's like warming up. You're going to be extra good, aren't you, Elf? Yes, 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 mummy. So it was about a 5-minute ride to get down to this warm-up arena, and when we got there, the ladies running the warm-up were like, oh, is there any chance that you could go in early because we're running slightly ahead of time? I was like, oh, it always happens to me. Every time I seem to go somewhere, they want me to go in early. So even when I have been organised and left enough plan time for a decent warm-up, I then feel obliged to go in early. I know you don't have to, but it always feels like you're getting pressure put on you to go before you're ready. But anyway, as it happened, there were so many big puddles in this warm-up because of the storm the night before. He was not really that keen on working in here anyway, so we avoided the worst bits, which was where Erin is filming from. There was a massive puddle along that end, and he actually worked around it quite nicely. So yeah, we just practiced stuff like that, which was that walk in the corner transition there, and a little bit of lateral work just to get him flexing a bit. And then I felt he was, I wasn't going to get any better work out of him in that arena. Just had a quick canter on both reins and decided to go for it. I just was not in the mood for any arguments with having fallen off the day before. I just did not want to be having arguments over puddles and falling off again, basically. So it was what it was, and we went in quite soon after warming up. I think we had about 10 minutes. You can just see I'm just struggling a little bit to get the canter going, because like I say, we were just avoiding the puddles, so there wasn't too much flow to this warm-up, but it was enough. So when we got to the test arena, I rode around the outside, and as I got down into the bottom corner, which is before Erin started filming this bit, there were some guys with a flatbed truck, and they had loads of branches in it, and they were unloading them and whacking them against the side of the metal containers that you can see down the bottom end. So yeah, he wasn't very keen on that, unsurprisingly. So I thought, great, this is going to be an interesting experience. The photographer was also down that end. But anyway, so yes, we just thought we'll make the best we can of it, and he was actually warming up nicely in this end on the better surface, and then they rang the bell to tell us to go in. Luckily my friend Sam offered to call the test for me. I thought I'd learnt it well enough, but I'm really glad I had her because I would have made a couple of mistakes otherwise. So we actually got a 7 for this centre line, which I was happy with. You can see he just had a little look at the judges box as we got straight onto it there, but not too bad, and I managed to get him back around my inside leg quite well. And so then we are going on to the 20-metre circle here. This was quite nice, quite good rhythm. Couple of, you can see he does have a couple of looks at things, but nothing too horrendous. and in general that felt quite nice. We got a 6.5 for that, and then we're into this S-shaped 2 half circles over X, and we got a 7 for that, which was commented quite accurate. Then it was this transition to walk in the corner. So I'm really pleased with that because he has always chucked his head up on the downwards and upwards transitions. So we didn't get that. He stayed quite nice and round in that, and we got a 7. And then this is the circle at A and transition to canter over X. We got a 7 for that as well, which I think was deserved. It was quite accurate. The transition was in the right place. And then we have this give and retake of the reins along that side, which we also got a 7 for, which was fair enough because I think the balance stayed quite good. Then we had the change of rein across this diagonal. We got a 6.5 for that. I think he came back to the trot a little bit early there. I then struggled to get him around my inside leg for a bit, and I was trying to slow down a little bit before preparing for this diagonal trot with the medium strides. So that was a little bit messy. We got a 6.5 for that, which was possibly a bit generous actually. I think that was slightly lower scoring, but anyway. Then we went back onto the second mirror image part of the test. So the first 20-metre circle here, we got a 6.5, circle a little large, and then the 2 half circles we got a 6.5. Now Erina stopped recording here to move, so that second bit's missing slightly. And then this is the walk transition in that corner again, which we got a 7 for, which was quite nice. And then it's back onto the 20-metre circle at this end with the transition to canter over X. I actually thought he went disunited here briefly and brought him back and retransitioned. So a 6.5 was probably quite generous for that as well. I then thought I was going across the diagonal there, and at the last minute I was glad I had a caller to remind me I was actually doing the give and retake along the long side there, so thank you Sam. I had a 6.5 for that, which isn't surprising given my lack of preparation there. And then the change of rein we got a 7 for here. Then it was working trot in this corner, and the change of rein to show some working trot, medium trot strides. We got a 6.5 for that. We've got a 7 for the walk transition here, and then it's a change rein in a free walk on a long rein. So this is a double scoring movement. We got a 6.5 for this, just with a comment that more consistent downward stretch could be shown, which is fair enough. He did lift his head a few times, but you know, in general this is a great improvement to previous efforts of that sort of thing. And then it's a centre line in the medium walk, so turn down centre line here. We got a 7 for that, and it's working trot at D, so that's all part of the same movement, so that was 7 for that. And then I stayed in sitting trot and waited for G to come up to do our halt immobility salute, which we got a 6.5 for, and he was a bit shuffly, so yeah, fair enough. So we got collective marks of 7 for paces, 6.5 for impulsion, 6.5 for submission, and a 7 for rider position. And the comment, very well done, a lovely test, spooky at times which lost a few marks, needs to be more supple to the contact as became against the hand at times, lots of potential. So completely fair enough, I agree with all of that.
So I'm wearing one of my Eclipse jackets today, so they're really stretchy and comfortable, so as you can see they move a lot, so they're really good for comfort. And then these are the Kira patent dressage boots with a mock crop top, so yeah, it's a very comfortable outfit all in all. Anyway, yeah, I was pretty pleased with him. The contact issues were much better, but he was very spooky down the bottom end because there were some guys loading some vines and bushy stuff into a trailer down there, and they were rustling it around, and he was like, nope, not going down there. So that was a shame, but the rest of the test I felt was quite nice, so I'm quite pleased with that. So yeah, after yesterday's horrible day, that was not too bad. And we actually came second, which I was quite surprised about with the spooky moments, but apparently everybody had a few problems in that spooky corner. So yeah, really chuffed with him, and we actually got 67%. So I'm glad. The judge is someone I know who she knows what she's doing. Basically, she trains with and writes for a BD judge really frequently, and yeah, so I'm really happy to get those scores. And you know, yes, there was the spooky bits, but we got some nice bits in between as well, which meant the scores, you know, leveled out, I suppose. So yeah, 67%, I'm really happy with that, and I'm very happy with this new bit. I think that's definitely helped with the contact issues. He was much stiller overall. So yeah, all in all, good boy, aren't you? You're a good boy. Yeah, and I'm a bit filthy, but the good thing about my jacket is I can stick it in the wash because they're machine washable. So all of this can just be washed off when I get home. So yeah, and a big thank you to Erina for coming to help me and videoing. So cheers. So all in all, I was very happy with that, considering the distractions we had down that one end. And yeah, I think that's good progress to work on. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you'd like to be notified of future vlogs.